Okay. Let's take the thing from the top again. Mitzvah. I'll try to go over the points we discussed last week a little faster. HaMitzvah shalosh esrei hishis hanu shelo l'ta'as ilon. And l'cheira ilon means any type of tree. Beinu srak, beinu machol. The Ram says it very clearly in Perek Vov. V'ilchas avodah zarah lo chates. And l'cheira is true to Shamikol. The Torah says koletz. B'mikdosh. Oh, b'tzad HaMizbeach. The just before you start, the seder here is very odd, because you'd have said, if you say b'tzad HaMizbeach, like he says in Mishnah Torah, oh, b'mikdosh or azorah, so then you understand we're going from the inside out. But once you say that it's mikdosh, what's the option of b'tzad HaMizbeach? It's a little bit odd. We don't understand what the Ram is gaining by this. The Torah says Eitzel Mizbeach. Well, Eitzel Mizbeach means any place which is attributed to the Mizbeach Mitzvah. The Chayr means what's the Azor or something like that. Or our bias. We pointed out last week the 2 days in the Sefer that whether one in Shaftim Minayin Luteya Elon Bahar Bayis, and then Rabbi Yezeb Yaakov Oimer Minayin Shenois Nachsad Rabazor. So what are we talking about? The whole Har Bayis, only Azor. And a priori, the Ram Mishnah Torah comes to the conclusion that it's the only Azor. Because the Ram says in Perek Vov Lochates, Anotei Elon Eitzel Mizbeach, Oi B'chol Azor, Arize Loike, Chule. But in Shiur he says also Lasas Sadroy Shel Eitz B'mikdosh, K'derech Shoysim B'chatzeros. And then he says, Achochi Yisera, Shnei Koletz. So if you learn it's Drabonon, so then the East is only in Azorah, and then Shalom Yisrael. But if you want to learn that it's a Deraisa, then you have to say the Achoka is Achoka Deraisa, and the difference between Halacha Tes and Halacha Yud is Halacha Tes Ikar Lav, and there's Malchus, and Halacha Yud is not the Ikar Lav, and there's no Malchus. And we pointed out that the Minchas Chinuch reports that there are Achreinim that learn that the Achok is a Deraisa. Ube'em is a Braisa in Tov Sadi Beis. Ube'em is a Braisa, the Sifri, before the Tanakh is the Boda Beis. Gam Kere Ubalav, Yaakov said, Barsadi Ubalav said, Ein because Mesh Kozbezer, we Ein Ye say the Mishnah. Sheherich Moed Bezer, we Ein Shem Shedait, the Ram Soiva, the Albinian or even Beloisase, Rakte in Loichin, Vachoka Shekosogam, Minate Rosach, that Rosach. Then we pointed out that in Beis Bechira, he says, Ein boinin Perek Av Lochates, Ein boinin boy eitz boile klau ella ba'avonim boy belevenim v'sid vi ein ois nachasadroi shel etz b'chol azora. So Pashas is, it means that Har HaBayis is mutter, and the East is dafka ba'azora. But it's very clear that the Raiva learns the Rambam that the Isa, that when he says Azora, it means Har HaBayis, because the Raiva Omavrom, well, Lishkas Kohen Godol shall Eitz Hoyisa, Ubesimchas Leishoem Makif Kol Azor Gezustro, means outside the Azora, the Makif the Azora. Eloyos Otera Kol eitz mizbach Hashem, v'ezras kohanim mishar nikno v'lifnim. Avo b'ezras noshim b'har habayis mutter. So he learns, the Ram learns that it's awesome. And also in Avodas Hilchos Avodah Zarah, Perek Vav Halacha Yud, the Rambam says Bosalasis Azor Shal Eitz B'Mikdosh and Hachoki Seira V'Chulei El Kol Zor Zasor Shebekodesh Shoyu B'Mikdosh Shal Evan or you V'Lo Shal Eitz, and the Raiva does the same thing. Om Avrom Ho Eitz Bayis Hoyiso Bima Shal Etz Shoyisu L'Melech B'Shas Hakel L'Shaita Hoyiso V'Chein Gezusa Shkivu B'Ezes Noshim L'Shaita Hoyiso. So there also, he's learning that according to the Ram, the Lav is the whole Alabayis. And that, I pointed out that Moses Shuvan or Yodea, Igus Moshe, Yodea Chelik Dalet Simon Samach Gimel, that points out these two Raivish, Mefuish Basogas Raivish, Al Rambam also Af Bahar Habayis. And he quotes Asogas and he quotes Perek Vav. But whatever it is, the Harabais is no Malchus, and there's only Malchus in Azor. The Chesed Mishnah and the Avodas HaMelech and others say that in Harabais there's no Isa D'Oraisa. Okay. Then, but whatever it is, we're going back and forth. What does Mikdash mean? Does it mean the Azora, the whole Harabayis? Whatever it is, L'cheira, the Rambam in Hilchos Sanhedrin has a very strange phrase, and there, L'cheira, it certainly means the Azora. Because in Perek Yud Tes Sanhedrin, Halacha Dalet, Kol Ois Shebatera, She'ein bohen kores v'lo mises bezdin. She'lo ken aleim kuf samches be'elohein. Anotei ilon b'mikdosh. What am I saying? Ilon b'mikdosh is Malchus. So l'chayim means the Azor. So now that we have that, this is the backdrop which I set up last week. But the question is, how do you finish it? Because if you recall, the Ram over here in the Mitzvah says, Hishis Hanu Shalolatas Elon B'Mikdosh, okay? Which L'cheira, the Ram is defining what the Lav is. And at the end, he quotes Kfahis Boyero, Mishpatei Mitzvazo, Bigmo, Tomid, V'shom hisbaru his boye shenatir asura b'chol hamikdash. So what's he adding? What happened over here? He's adding something. So here, if you learn, like the Eish say the Mishnah, and you have the backdrop that Mikdosh sometimes means Azora, maybe the Ram is doing, and then it will be Mistaber. At the beginning, he means the Isa is Bazora, Oy B'tzad HaMizbeach, and you would assume like that, just like he does in Hilchos Sanhedrin, where the word Mikdosh certainly means Azora, because here we're talking about Dika Lav, and the Ram is formulating Lav. And the formulation of Lav is certainly Azora in terms of the Ika Lav and Malchus. And then the Ram continues, and he himself says over here that there's Malchus. And that Malchus is only in Mikta, only in Azora. He says, oops. He says, Vu Omu, Vu'oiva alav ze Chayim Malkus. Then, after he mentioned the Chiyuv Malkus, he talks about B'chol HaMikdash. And there, you can learn B'chol HaMikdash means Har HaBayis, and it's not Ti'ika alav. And there's no Malkus, and that's Kol HaMikdash. And then Kol HaMikdash comes to add something. And the whole thing is very nice. And that Kol HaMikdash is Har HaBayis, and Mikdash is Azor. And then it actually coincides with everything, the way the Raiva learns the Ram Mishnah Torah, or the Moshe discusses the Ram Mishnah Torah, and Yesed La Mishnah and Shalom Yisrael. You could say, but that sounds become very interesting, that the Rambam at the beginning over here in Mikdash means Har HaBayis, like the Tanakh and the Sifri. And then he's not like what he said in Mishnah Torah. But then also you have no clue what he's coming, what's the Hisopa, when he says at the end of the mitzvah, there's an Isa B'chol HaMikdash. He says, right? Asur B'chol HaMikdash. We don't know what that means. So those are the options. And you just have to decide, what's better. I just, one sounds better. I'm not sure 100% whether it is better. The question is, if you medayik the difference between Kol HaMikdash and Mikdash L'chai, it's certainly better to say the first side. The second side, the second approach puts him a smack against what he says in Mishnah Torah, which is not difficult, but I don't know. That's what I would suggest. Okay, now let's continue. Now here he says something very interesting. There's a phrase here. Hishis hilnu shalotas ilum mikdash o b'tzara mizbeach al derech hanoi v'kovod. That an aspect or a part of the definition of a law is that the elon is planted for covered, to beautify and to mechabed something. That's Ibn Tibbon's translation. Kapach kidei shehei lenoi loi uliyofi. Okay. And then he continues, Ki kach gam kein hoyu megadlin uivdei hoyu megadlin avodah zarah. That he made it greater or more grandeur, and the Kapach says Mechabdin Avodah Zarah. So the Isa is what they did Avodah Zarah is the Kavod L'Noi, and the Isa, what we're not allowed to do, is also the Kavod L'Noi. And this is another mitzvah in this class where we're not allowed to do what they used to do for Avodah Zarah. And then Shehoyu, and he continues what the Avodah Zarah did. Shehoyu noitim lefoneho. Lefoneho means the Avodah Zarah. Ilonus Yofin v'nechmodim b'vote avodah, in their houses of worship for the Avodah Zarah. So the mitzvah is, the Ashara is, even though you want to be, is about covered, to cover for Avodah Zarah, and we shouldn't be over Hashem in that fashion. The interesting thing is, the Rambam Mishnah Torah does not mention covered at all. And one of the things that I like to, what I like to investigate is this a chazorah between Sefer Mitzvah and Mishnah Torah. The Ram says in Perek Vov of Hilchos Avodah Zarah Halacha Tes, Anotei Elon Eitza Mizbeach O B'chol Azor O B'chol Azor V'chulei Af al pi she'asa l'noi l'mikdash v'yoyfei loi how is it like it? And he says Shenemar l'sitacho e ashera kol eitzei zimzer Hashem elokecha b'bnei shehoyer ze derech oivdei avodah zarah noitin lanu tzad hamizbeach shelo kedei shischapsu sham. And you notice that, you see, I think there's something very important going on. You'll see what I'm doing afterwards. But the question is, what are you doing? Are you planting the tree next to the mizbeach of the Avodah Zarah, or are you planting the trees next to the Avodah Zarah itself? So let's go back and read. Let's see. He says, Ki kach hoyu gam kein megadlin avodah zarah shehoyu noitin lefoneho ilonos yofen. So what's lefoneho? It's the avodah zarah. Okay. However, in Mishnah Torah, it says something else. Shehoyu noitin ilonos b'tzad mizbeach shelo kedei shischapsu sham ha'om. So what is the purpose of the Natiyah? Is it to mechabit something? So then the Natiyah is by the Avodah Zarah. Or is it a demarcation place to congregate? So the Chayra, this one would have said, is the machlekes. So here, I want to prove this, that there is a basic difference, between what he does in Sefer HaMitzvos and Mishnah Torah. And the proof, I think, comes from a very interesting line in Mishnah Torah. The Ram says in the beginning, from what I read, in Perek Vov, Halacha Tes, and Te'ilun Eitz HaMizbeach, or B'chol Azor, Afal Pi, with Afal Pi is like an apology. Afal Pi she'asal l'noi l'mikdash v'yofilu. What do you mean Afal Pi? Is the noi the oiser, or it's a havami and it's a matir? See, if you learn the Isa is kibbutz, so maybe you can say Mechaber l'shem mitzvah or l'shem gedula and covered for mikdash, maybe it's a matir. But if the Isa is to do what the goyim do to their avodah zarah, we shouldn't do a mikdash, which means they will mechaber the avodah zarah. So, and by noi and yoifi, so afal pi is nothing. It should be, oh, that's the Isa. So it's very meduik in the Mishnah Torah. Then when he talks about a reason why you might be matir, he talks about noi, the mikdash v'yofilu. What he wanted to define what the Isa is, because she escapes to Shama. Because the Isa in the Tia is Mitzad HaMizbeach. And that's what the Goyim did. Mitzad them Mizbeach. Whereas over here, they did it Mitzad the Avodah Zarah. And it was L'chaber the Avodah Zarah. It's a whole different story. So it's very meduik, and it seems to be machlokes between Sefer HaMitzvos and Mishnah Torah. Okay, let's go on. And this is very interesting, I thought. And it's another chiddush over here. See, especially the Ram does it in Moreh Nevuchim. That the Isa is Eicha Yavdu Agoyim O'ele V'Esekein Gamoni. I would have said that the problem of Kiderech Eid Avodah Zarah if it's part of the avodah or the covered of the avodah zarah. But if it's just a meeting place to call the flock together for avodah, that's part of the derech avodah. See, if you miyape the mizbeah, you miyape the avodah zarah, so that makes a lot of sense. But if it all is a place, so it's a chiddush to say it's echi abdu agoyim o'ele v'esekein gamoni. The Rambam in Mishnah Torah is a big chiddush, and that it maybe he's not working on Moreh Nevuchim. I have no clue. But the Rambam over here in Sefer HaMitzvos, it's about echi abdu. The goyim are mechaber the avodah zarah, and we should mechaber and oived Hashem in that fashion. The truth is, similarly, in Matzeva, The Rambam in Sefer Mitzvas says that the Matzeva, they put the Avodah Zorah on it. In the Rambam Mishnah Torah doesn't say it. We're not sure if he's disagreeing or not. But if the Matzeva is a place of Avodah Zorah, then it's something about the Avodah. It's a Meshamshi Avodah Zorah. It's something, okay? To put it on a high pedestal or something. But if it's just a place she skapsu, the Oivdim, then we don't know what it has to do with Echi Abdu Agoyim Oev Gamoni. Since they do this, that's what they happen to do. It's also even nothing to do with the Etzem Avodah. We don't know. The Rambam, it's not here. In this mitzvah, it's very clear that there's a difference. By Matzeva, he doesn't mention it. There's no proof. The question is the omission of commission. That's what we have. I thought this was all very interesting. Now, let's continue. V'omer yis'ale lo sita l'cho ashera kol eitz eitzo mizbach Hashem Elokecha v'rive alav zeh chayiv malchus ukfa hisbaru mishpatei mitzvah zo b'gmor tomid. So the place where you learn about this mitzvah is in Maseches Tomid. V'shom hisbaru shenetia asura b'chol hamikdash. Okay, so let's see what this is all about. So what's there in Tomid? If you look, Maseches Tomid, Rav Ches, Amid Beis, Umi have achsadros ba'azoro. What the achsadros was the Sanya ba'azoro. For Sanya, the Lezer Yaakov Minayin Sheinu Yisn achsadros ba'azoro. Tamaloimo l'sita l'cho kol eitz eitzim mizbach Hashem Elokecha. Hohin kom. L'sita l'cho ashera. L'sita l'cho kol eitz eitzim mizbach Hashem Elokecha. Ovav chisto v'achsadroi shel binyan. L'chayro, Edram Pirush Mishnayis seems to say that the kavon of Azor here is Mikdosh. Or Harabayis would have Mikdosh. But at the same time, he brings the Lashon of the Gemara that the Isa is the Azor. Look at the Ram Pirush Mishnayis in Maseches Tomid, Perek Aleph Mishnah Gimel. Ukvar bi'alnu kama pomim ki achsadro hi al perto shederech lasles lifnei abatim. Apat is probably an Arabic word, I assume. Veheim belita shel eitz yoytz min hakoisolim v'yoytz aleim maziva. It's a belita and it's like a canopy or something. Yes. We also last says Dovazeh b'mikdosh. V'omu minayin sheinois nachzados ba'azora. Tamuloima loisitacho asher kolets. V'chomu b'talmud shachzadur amur kan eino al binyan boilek. Guf kois le'azora misoviv v'kula v'omu achzador shel binyan hoyu. V'loi hoyu korui shel eitz b'shach zadroi. So we pointed out before that the Rambam Mishnah Torah, and the question, the Pashto Lashon is that one seems to say the Isa is only in Azora, and between Avodah Zarah and Beis Bechira, or the other is Mashmitz. It's the whole Harabayis, and we pointed out in the Beis Bechira it's Mashma only Azora, and Avodah Zarah is Mashma all Harabayis, and here in the Pirush Mishnayos and Talmud, he says Mikdosh, and then he says Azor. It's the same type of thing. But if you recall, the Raiva learns both of them is the whole Harabayis. So if the Rambam's Kabbana to bring the Gemara Talmud is Kol Mikdosh, and it's Harabayis, then L'cheira in Pirush Mishnah here, if it's the same, is the Mikdosh is Harabayis. So this, I think, from our point of view, in interpreting the text of the Rambam in Minyan HaMitzvos, I think we're okay. The problem is, what I want to do is work on, just to go back to basis, to try and interpret the words in the pasuk. The pasuk says, "Loisita locho ashera, kol eitz mizbach Hashem Elokecha." What is Asherah? What is called Etz? How do you read the pasuk? What's the pasuk in Sheftim in Dvorim Tezayin Chaf Aleph? What's going on? So you could have imagined that there are two Isur in the pasuk. There's an Isa of Asherah, and there's the Isa of the TS8. Lo sita cho Asherah, and we see the Chokolate. And L'cheira, the Talmud in Talmud, Chaf Ches, Beis would support this. Let's go back and read. I probably did the line that I didn't read. I stopped before. Umi havu achsadrois azara. Vosanya Rebbe Eliezer ben Yaakov Omer minayin sheinois nachsadrois ba'azara. Talmud loima loisita lecho ashera kol eitz mizbar Hashem Elokecha. So the Gemara is perturbed. What does the pasuk mean, and what's the raya? So the Gemara says, "Hochi ka'oma lo sita lecho ashera kama." One thought, lo sita goes separately, independently on each one separately. Lo sita lecho ashera and lo sita lecho. Call eight Mizbach Hashem Elokecha. But the two Isurim in the pasuk. There's an Isa of the Tias Asherah and an Isa of the Tias Kol Eitz. But when it says eight Mizbach Hashem Elokecha, maybe that's only koletz. But Losita Achla might be every place. Ashera b'chol mokoy. And then there's an Isa of Netias Koletz in Azor Badafka. Rabbeinu Gershom is very clear about this. In Talmud there. Tomorrow, mi have yachsadros bazor. Hai de poch, kol salkadaito, de yachsadro amudim shel eitz mai. Wasani Rabbi Eliezer oimer, shnem l'sitecho ashero. B'chol mokoy. So if it's ashero, it's also every place. V'chol eitz, v'chol eitz ba'almu, if it's not an ashero, it's a poshet eitz, that's only eitz al mizbeach, lo lehave. Eitz al mizbeach lo lehave. Ochi mashmako. So the two isum is one isa ashero b'chol mokoy, and then there's an isa of kol eitz, of any, of a stam eitz, only Eitzah Mizbach Hashem Elokeh. And it's very clear that the Yereim learns like this. Sefer Yereim, Simin, Shina involved, or the Fus Yoshin Sam involved, Lo Sita L'cho Ashero, Kosel Pasha Shreiftim, Lo Sita L'cho Ashero, Kol Eitz, the time is Lo Sita L'cho Ashero, Pirish, Afa Pishele Ovdo, Mishas the Tia Oiv, the Tiasa Oive, Umanik Asher, Krisnamba Vodizor, call a pericard slum, Gimel Asher Shilonis, Aim, Elon Shanot the Mitchila Vodizor is also. God the Upisla Vodizor. It was planted not Avodah, and then you want to make Avodah, only that which is in addition becomes also. The Mashihichlif, Heme Tachta Avodah v'Sukkah Muteres, Tanya b'Sifri, Minayin Lotei Elon, Uboine Bei. Bias, Bahara bias, says Tamaloima, call eight of Mizbach Hashem Elokeh, two Isa, one's in Avodah Zarah Isa, and one's in Isa, eight of Mizbach Hashem Elokeh. And the Isa Avodah Zarah is B'chol Mokoy. Shoimer, Asher Tasa L'cho, L'Rabbis Bomo. Sechas Tomid Aminon, mi have achsados bazor, but saying let's be young when I ain't achsados bazor, don't know b'chur. So now, let's get back. So it's the Rabbeinu Gershom and the Yereim, l'chera, there are two isum in this person. There's an Isa of Ashera, and there's an Isa of eitz on Mizbeach. So the question is, that's the Rambam or Ramban, why shouldn't it be two mitzvah minyan mitzvahs? So Bishlam, according to the Rambam, there's only mitzvah achas. It's very clear. Why not? Because the Ram Shita ensures Chi that we have one law and two things included in the law. You count only one in minyan mitzvahs. Al teichel meinu no v'oshem busha v'mayim. In minyan mitzvahs is one. . However, so let's assume at the moment that two isum in the pasuk, but it's only one in Minyan HaMitzvos because it says lo sitacho asher kol eitz mizbach Hashem Elokecha. So there are two isuim and one lav. It's one lav in Minyan HaMitzvos, as the Ram clearly formulates in Sherish Chi. However, according to Ramban, who's chilek, and says that no mavushal in Sherish Chi is two lav in Minyan HaMitzvos. So here also should be two mitzvahs in Minyan HaMitzvos, Ashera and Kol Eitz. However, getting back to the Rambam, even if you assume that the two isum in the pasuk, but it's only one lav, shouldn't the Rambam have told you that there's a lav of Netiras Eitz Asher Shavod Zora? That's the pasuk. The two isum over here. There's one Asher Shavod Zora, and there's one of Eitz Tzaltzal Mizbeach. The Ram in Mishnah Torah doesn't make a mention of there's a lav of the Tiyas Asher. Doesn't talk about Asher over here in Minyan HaMitzvos, and also doesn't discuss in Mishnah Torah. Even though it's mefurish in Mishnah Torah that the Asher Amu Torah is Avodah Zarah. Ram Perches of Hilchos Avodah Zarah Halacha Gimel Elon Shenata Oy Mitchila Shia Nevad Osabano Vizu He Asher Amu Torah. What the Ram is doing is interpreting the pasuk. Ki'im kol ta'asu lohem mizbechoseim titoitzu u'matzevoisem tishaberu v'asherim tigadeyu v'sileim tisufum beish. And that's the Asherah. Isn't it interesting that Zui Asher Amur Batera, he quotes in Periches, that's the mitzvah of Ibud, Avodah Zarah. Shouldn't he quote it Zui Asher Amur Batera by us to tell us, that there's an Isa? So what I would suggest to deal with both the Ram and the Ramban, why it shouldn't be two lavim, and the Rambam, why he doesn't mention anything, that they both learn that the Asherah of the pasuk in Leisitel Chasheil Kol Eitz is not an Asherah over the Zohar, but it's an Eitz Shedakol Litoya Pischei Bot Avodah. The Ramban clearly learns like that. The Ramban in Sheiftim Dvorim Perek Tezayin Posach Chof Aleph Leisitel Chasheil Kol Ilon Hanatua Al Pischei Beis Avodah Zarah Yikra Ashera. Ulai pavush some derech mare oisei li'om. Yikra Kain, I assume it's like a landmark. Oh, it's here. Meloshen Tomo Chashui Maglasech. Yazi Hakosu Shalolitan Elon Eitzel Mizbach Hashem Lenoi. V'yachshu Kova V'hodel Mizbech Hashem. Again, the issue of Noi, but it's not an Ashera of Avodah Zarah. It's an Ashera which is a landmark. The Mechaber the Avodah Zarah. V'osa Kosu Bavushu Mini Goy the Avodah Zarah. Latas Ilon is a Pische Bote Avodah Zarah Shalem. He Shenema. As Mizbach Habal, the Ashera Asher Olav Tikores. So the Isa is an Isa, not the Avodah Zarah. It's Minei Goyim Lita Pische Bote Avodah Zarah. But the Ashera was a tree which was like a landmark. And then Stama trees also. Loizu Avzu. So then the Isa Ashera is not the way the Pashas of the Gemara and Talmud, that it's B'chol Mokum, sitting on a Gershom, and I assume the Reim, but the Isa Ashera is only on Piskei Avodah Zarah. It's not B'chol Mokum, because it's not an Ashera over the Zarah. It's only Eitzah Mizbeach. So then it's like Ki'ilu, it's written Ashera v'chol eitz al mizbeach. So then in the Ramban, it's both. There shouldn't be a separate mitzvah minyan mitzvahs. They should. Why? Because basically, it's the same thing. It's not two separate things like normal Vusho. It's all the same. There's only one problem here, and this is really not for us. Why did they destroy the Ashera in Shoftim over there, in the Sefer Shoftim? So l'cheira, I would assume that the pshat is the Rambam says in Perek Zayin Halacha Aleph that mitzvah say la'abed avodah zarah and umisham sheha v'chol anase b'shvilo, and the eighth is made for the avodah zarah. Shnei ba'abed tablets kol makomis. V'nema ki im kol taselohem. That's what I would assume. Maybe I'm wrong. So I would assume that the Rambam over here in both the Sefer Mitzvah Mishnah Torah learns also that the Ashera is not Ashera for the Zorah. And so we don't talk about Ashera for the Zorah. So there's no reason the Rambam Mishnah Torah to talk about an Isa planting Ashera for the Zorah because the Torah is not discussing it. You know, I think you could bring a guy up. Because the Rambam Minakot in Protei HaMitzvos in Hilchos Avodah Zarah calls the mitzvah lois shalolita Ashera. So it means Ashera and the Kol Eitz is synonymous. Otherwise, you can't, use both or an alternative interpretation of the pasuk, the Asher that was the Zohar. It's a little odd to say that that's the mitzvah, that's the ashara, and the Mishnah not to make any mention of it when he mentions in the Patei Mitzvahs. I think you'd flip it and you say like this. If you're ready to assume that by Yisrael there's an Isa of the Tias Asherah, but Teres Avodah Zarah, so I assume by Goyim, that's also the case. So what would you say in the Rambam Hilchos Malachim in Perik Tes Halacha Beis? Benoyach she'ovar avodah zarah, how is it chayiv? That we know. It's just v'hu shi'ava kedarko. V'chol avodah zarah shebezdin sheYisrael me'misin alel benoyach ne'erag alel. V'chol she'ein bezdin sheYisrael me'misin alel ein benoyach ne'erag alel v'af al pi kain v'af al pi she'eino ne'erag osa b'kol. And then it says, the Eimaniche Lokim Matzeh, what does it mean? That the Goy per se is really not also Matzeh. Well, we don't allow him to make a Matzeh. So that's what it means. The Eimaniche Nois. And then after he says, well, Lasso I'm skipping a little bit. Okay, it's Ben Lanoi. We don't allow the Goyim to do it, even though it's Mutter. Lolita Ashera, that's what I skipped. It's also, we don't allow them to do it, but it bets him is mutter. If it's a an Elon, Avodah Zarah, doesn't make any sense. I guess their Sheira is Masad, they bought Avodah Zarah, Masad, the Misbeah, whatever. So since, according to the Rambam, there's no din miyuchadim for Asherah as far as this mitzvah is concerned, there's no reason to discuss it in Mishnah Torah or in Minyan Mitzvahs. And according to the Ramban, that Asherah is certainly something on a tree that they used to play is the demarcation of Pischei Avodah Zarah, but it's not Kilu and Isa Avodah Zarah like the Reim or the Gershom. So it's nothing to do with normal Vushal, it's a little portion. It's only one lav minyan mitzvahs. You find this approach in Achreinim also, that they learn the Asherah is not the Asherah of the Zorah. The Goyin idea, so they all sit the Chashem b'nei chukas ha'akum shenoitnei tzal elileim L'asher bovad el afilu kol eitz also eitz el mizbach Hashem eitz el mizbeach hu harabayis. Interesting going harabayis whatever. In Ksava Kabbalah, the same type of thing. Okay, now let me introduce, just for the next few minutes, the next mitzvah. HaMitzvos ha-14, Hishis Hilnu Mehishova v'avodah zarah. It's to take a shvur with avodah zarah. Then the next phase is interesting. V'afilu l'ovdeha, it's mashma that a shvur to the ovdeha should be reasonably matir. The question what that means. And not only are we not allowed to take a shvur b'shem avodah zarah, but we can't be mashpia goyim to take a shvur in avodah zarah. V'chein lo yashbiu oisam bo. Kmo shebiu lanu lo yishbiu l'goy bi'rasa. So the Chayim will Bez Hashem pick this up more, that the mashbia and the nishba are both ikalav. The mashbia goy, even if you don't take a shvur, that's also the ikalav. And then he says, "V'amu yisale b'shem Elohim aherim lo saskiru." So the shashbir l'goy bi'rasa. You don't understand the repetition. That's not our Indian now. Why he has to say? He just mentioned the mechilta. So what does he want by mentioning it again? V'sham. So v'sham l'chayra means that it's in the mechilta, the Rabbi Yishmael. Because the discussion before about mashbia is in the mechilta Rabbi Yishmael. V'sham amru gam kein lo yiskil sheyodo adam b'shem avodah zarah. Now there's also Isa Neder. The problem is I didn't find this in the mechilta Rabbi Yishmael, and you'll see where you find it. We'll talk about it. Mitzvah Shem Neder. U'b'Sanhedrin, not only shvur and not only neder, lo yisaskiru shelo yoymar odem lechaver u'shmo li b'sar avodah zarah zo. Plonis. B'sar avodah zarah plonis. Using the avodah zarah, the demarcation line. Demarcation of identifying a place, of the street that has kilu an avodah zarah there. So you're defining the place by the avodah zarah. So here is a problem, and the question is, and the Ram doesn't talk about it here, is the problem of Stam mentioning an avodah zarah, not as a location. You say the avodah zarah ploni, almoni. Maybe there's no Isa. It's only to mention as a location. Ba'ovalav zeh kloima sheishava b'dovim in nevroyes shiach shebehem atoyim or elohus outside ha-hagdola. Question was outside hagdola here also the union of covered. What does it want with hagdola? Chayiv malchus. Or Sanhedrin, mashis hu mechabek avodah zarah benashka lechabek lefaneho. We're going to the pulis hakov va'avo omu hakulam ein loike. There's no malchus for ki kov v'nishuk. Chutz min ha'noidem hakayim b'shmo. For noidem hakayim b'shmo, there's malchus. Bo, will be Mitzvah, but she's a hedging, we'll pick this up next week. Hatzlocha.